So apparently Amanda Seales is now blaming it on the autism, right? And a little dash of depression. This level of avoidance of accountability is like, next level, for real, for real.
Previously on Said Nicely.
Meanwhile, a person who has had every single opportunity, almost at every single stop, in almost every single genre or media, but then in every single step along the way, everybody was the problem. And y'all don't see a problem with that.
Part 2.
Y'all are so caught up in the trauma bond. Most of y'all don't move like her. Most of y'all move with some level of respect. Y'all move like, okay, cool. I know I got to give to get. There's some give and take. There's a yin and the yang. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a real world consequences for people who misstep. Like, we got to know better and do better and be better out here. You think I can go to whatever corporate situation, and you think you can go to every situation that you want to go into and just be what you want to be, how you want to be without consideration for other people? Right? When you move through the world like that, that's what I mean by lack of empathy, right? It's not even so much about touchy-feely and really being concerned about other people. It's about being able to understand where other people are coming from, right? And that knowledge can empower you to use that to your benefit. You know what I'm saying? But y'all want to accuse me of not knowing what empathy is really, really about, right? But I'm going to tell you where my empathy is really.
I recently was diagnosed as someone who has autism spectrum disorder, which is very difficult to identify in Black women because of racism.
So now the Class Act, baller alert, yet another Black space, because there is such a dedicated effort to degrade me and defame me. It is beyond my scope of comprehension. Wants to suggest that because my autism diagnosis did not come from a clinician, that it is not valid. What's not valid is people speaking on things that they don't know about. And my autism diagnosis is not for you all to discuss. It's not up for your debate. And anyone who is speaking on or trying to invalidate diagnosis that comes outside of a clinician is only revealing that they actually don't know anything about autism diagnosis or autism.
Fact check.
So if you go to autismspeaks.com, you'll see that there's like a whole diagnosis process, especially for adults who are being diagnosed with autism for the very first time. Like, it's not something that you could just simply do like just on your own, right? But you want to say, oh, I didn't have the $10,000 to do it.
No, I have not been clinically diagnosed by a doctor because I'm not paying $10,000 to do that. And most people will tell you that at this age, you don't need a clinical diagnosis in that sense.
If you're broke, just say that. Right? But even if you did in fact have that, right, and you didn't even take the steps, whether it's through health insurance or the $10,000 to try to like go further, because it's not even just about the diagnosis. Because if you were really searching for answers and you find something that explains something for you, right, if you wanted to change it or if you wanted to be better about it, you would go to a clinician who can come up with a plan, give you some tools or whatever to be better about it, right? But if you're not even going to get the clinical diagnosis, then how can you even get the clinical help? If you're not doing that, then can we still hold you accountable for at least that part? We say, if you know better, do better, right? But so if you're saying that you know better now, then what are you doing to do better? Or maybe you don't even think there's anything to do better about.
I don't have any desire to change those things about me.
If that's the case, then just say that. Right? We don't need the autism piece. Or are you saying that to elicit some level of sympathy, right? So that people will allow you to continue to move a certain type of way. And if that's the game, then that's a disservice to people who are really dealing with autism. That's a disservice to people who are genuinely appreciative of the light that you are casting on the whole thing. But here's the kicker though. So what I'm accusing her of is faking something for sympathy. Faking something to shield her from accountability. And I saw a clip of her when she was arguing with Jenny Ma, and she was talking about how it was low-key noble that even if Jussie Smollet or Jussie Smollet, right, was faking what he did, it was low-key noble because he would be bringing attention to a thing.
Even if it was a hoax for the sake of bringing attention to this, then I'm like, that's low-key noble.
She said that on national television because I think Jeannie Mai's perspective was, you guessed it, that Jussie would still be accountable for committing a crime. Now, depending on what the punishment should be is one thing, but her argument, and by her I mean Amanda Seales, that since Emmett Till, the person who lied then, didn't suffer any come on, man. It's still an argument for a lack of accountability. Accountability got to start somewhere, even if it didn't happen yesterday. At some point in time, we got to hold people accountable. If Jussie Smollett lied, he should suffer whatever penalties. We ain't saying hang the motherfucker, but come on, man. She said low-key noble.
Low-key noble.
Low-key noble, that even if he faked it, the fact that he brought attention to it, that's her saying that. Would that also be a pattern when it came to the whole Myron Rolle thing? Because she had an experience with him. Shorty said that she had manifested the nigga on the Breakfast Club.
The one person that I actually got excited about, who had dropped in my DMs, I basically manifested 2 years ago. I was like, this person is going to eventually fall into my DMs.
The nigga, boom, boom, popped up in her DMs. Come on, man, we human beings. We men out here. You ever met a woman who clearly gave you the energy that she was been manifesting you, right? She just be ready to rock and roll. She saw this nigga somewhere on socials or whatever, probably liked that he was a Rhodes Scholar and an athlete. Cool, right? Dreamt the nigga up and then boom, boom, popped up in her motherfucking DMs. Had one conversation and maybe he returned that energy and all of a sudden it was all putting.
We had a conversation. Within the first conversation, he's like, when are you coming to Boston? I was like, well, I'll be there February 23rd.
Well, we know he's from Boston
for
now.
my show.
Okay. We know he's from Boston.
And he was like,
clue.
no, I need to see you before that. Easy, B. Real rap, old Amanda would have felt honored by that. Old Amanda would have been like, he want to see me so quick. Oh my gosh. New Amanda with the wisdom and the security of self is why is a man I ain't never met before so pressed off of one conversation for me to come see him? Furthermore, did not ask about my availability. Furthermore, did not offer to pay my way. None of these things. It was just I need to see. What is this?
She ain't say S.A., but she hinted at it though, right? It was oh, he was being thirsty and all this other shit, right? You was manifesting anyway, right? And then all of a sudden, all these other women start hitting her up and stuff.
I was telling my right-hand homegirl about it, and who works with Smart, Funny, and Black, and she was like, I think he hollered at my homegirl. She texts her homegirl, yo, you remember this dude? What's his story? Her homegirl literally replies, asshole. I'm like, more tea, please.
Hashtag
spill
asshole?
it. No, more tea. And she said, yo, we talked a couple times on the phone, on FaceTime. She lives in New Orleans. He had to come out here for work. He said, let's get up, let's meet in person. They'd never met before. And she said that when she got to his hotel room so that they could meet to then go eat dinner, he opened the door butt-ass naked.
Because it was her duty, she had to put it out there, right? Even if maybe she embellished some of it, because there are some creeps out here. There are men who present one way and do a thing, right? It resonated with women who have had certain experiences. I see a pattern, and it's really not that hard to see, right? Anytime people have criticisms about her, it's, oh my God, the world is against me. All the isms are against me, right? It can't be that, oh, you did something. But when it comes to her having criticism, she just be blah, blah, blah.
That cornball nigga who loves to make himself look like he's the white people's savior.
Blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Everybody getting hit.
Part 3 coming soon.